Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about very briefly concepts around liquidity, right? And I will not go into the philosophy of liquidity. That's a video for another time. But today I thought maybe I'll just do a quick overview of what internal liquidity is, external liquidity is, because that is one of the core tenets of smart money concepts. And then also something that is based where my strategy is heavily based around, right? So how do we understand what liquidity is the right liquidity? When do we know this is the right one to take, or this is the right sweep and then I should enter? So I wanted to cover some basics before I go into an actual trade. Let me go ahead and see if this works. Okay, now obviously we'll draw a structure. Let's say a market is going as such in a downtrend, right? This is pretty standard trend. And then what it does is it shifts pattern, right? So it starts going like this, right? And then again suddenly shifts like this, and then it starts going down, right? Now, which points are liquidity points here, right? And you have to understand this very carefully. And I'll repeat it multiple times. Liquidity is a point, right? It is a strong high or a strong low that is responsible for breaking a structural point, right? And I need that to be swept. So for example, what I mean by this is that this point right here, this right here, is strong high because it broke this low, right? And it went down. So I don't anticipate this to be broken. This is a downward trend and that's where it is going. This again becomes a strong structural point, right? Because it broke this structure right here to the left and it went through it. So this I don't expect to be broken. Now what this gets taken, this gets swept at this point. This is strong liquidity being taken. This is the sweep that I'm interested in. So that would be first one. This is the second sweep that I would be interested. This would be the second sweep I would be interested in because it's another structural point that broke structure to the left and got swept, and that I would be interested in. So in this case, in actually in either one of these cases, I could have placed an entry here with a stop loss covering the top as such, and this would have been a loss. Or I could have placed an entry over here with coming down like this, and that would be my entry point. This would be the stop high, and this would be my winner, right? That is the entire premise of liquidity. Now let me clean that all up for you. There. Now there is something called external and internal liquidity, right? So when you have a chart like this, right? Now this line in itself, it never prints. Charts don't print like this. Candles don't print like this. So there is internal chart happening here. So imagine I'm drawing this line here like that. In fact, let me do it this way, this. But what this really is telling me is this, right? So you have a chart going up like this. This is your internal trend, right? Okay. So this is your larger trend going like this. And this is your internal trend, which is embedded into your larger trend, right? And sometimes what happens is that maybe you don't have, so let's say this is the external liquidity right here because this broke this low. So this is strong because this broke this low over here. If price has crossed this level and taken this out, I would consider this a valid sweep for sure. But sometimes what happens is that price does not capture the external liquidity, the strong structure, but it captures the internal structure. So for example, if price is higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then it breaks this structure because this is a strong low which broke structure over here, so this should not be taken, but it got swept, right? So this now becomes strong, right? And I need this liquidity to be taken, right? So I need price to go back up here, take this, and then go down. So once this gets swept, I can get myself involved into a trade. That is the premise, right? It's either external strong structure or internal strong structure, and the external strong structure always takes precedence, right? The internal strong structure is B setup, the external is A setup. So having said all of that, let me just take that out. Having said all of that, what does that mean for us? Give me 1 second. Let's look at this trade right here. All right, so what is this? What am I doing? Oh my goodness. What am I doing here? You have, this is the candle that I'm looking at, the 15-minute candle. So look at the crosshairs, yeah? So this box that I've drawn over here, right here, this is this candle, right? Because it's a strong, nice momentum candle, and it will be the same thing if I were to just reiterate this, that this would be the box that I'm looking at, okay? Now, I want to get involved into a trade at the start or capture the wick of the second candle and ride it all the way down. And how do I do this? I make sure that I am waiting for a pullback, which is the creation of the wick, and I'm waiting for liquidity being swept. So how do I know a liquidity being swept? As I told you, there is internal and there is external. And at this point in time, you have your higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low over here. This is your structure high over here. This got swept. I put a stop order at this point. I put a stop order at this point, covering the zone or covering the high. This right here is only 2 pips, right? And you could have ridden that down all the way for a massive, massive winner. In fact, let me do this. So if I were to place a trade as such, that would be 2 pips. You see that extending, and that would mean, oh my goodness, that would mean a trade today, if you were to capture this, would have been a 40-hour trade. All right, that has kind of surprised me as well. But you see the power of this, yeah, that with very tight stop losses, a complete mechanical setup, you wait for your momentum candles, you wait for your liquidity sweeps, you wait for a zone mitigation, you wait for that liquidation to happen, you enter with a stop order, and you let that sucker run. Yeah. All right, guys, I'll catch you up later. Cheers. Bye.